What's good, YouTube? It's your girl ShawniiEcho, and I'm back with another video. If you are new to my channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. I am ShawniiEcho. I am a singer, songwriter, hairstylist, videographer, child of God, woman of God, all those good things. And if you would like to see more of my content, please make sure that you subscribe and hit that bell so you'll be notified every time I upload. If you are returning, me. Thank you for watching my videos. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Welcome to Sessions with Shawnii. We'll share with you the lessons life has taught me. Welcome to Sessions with Shawnii. Helping you along my self-care journey.
If you read the title, then you know today we are discussing how I discovered I was depressed and what I feel is contributing to that depression. So if you or anybody you know is experiencing depression, please understand this is a serious matter and you do need to get help. It is not okay to stay not okay. So hopefully me sharing some of my experiences will help you realize, you know, whether or not this is something you're dealing with and how to go about, you know, owning it. Because once you own it, you can start to work on it. So without further ado, let's get to it. I want to say that I have actually been dealing with depression from early childhood. However, it was not extremely evident to me until I had to enter a period of isolation. Now, for those of y'all who are the real ones who've been following me, you know I have an issue with isolation and doing things by myself. If you haven't seen that video, a card will pop up right about here discussing, you know, why you shouldn't be afraid to be alone. However, for me, in my solitude, that is when I discovered I was depressed. Why was I in solitude? Dun, dun, dun. COVID. A lot of the signs and symptoms of depression I definitely had been experiencing even before COVID. But if anybody currently is dealing with COVID, depression is a symptom, and usually it's from the quarantine aspect of it. I don't know what else about it would cause it, but it actually is a symptom of it. Just FYI. So I caught COVID about 7 months ago. If it was longer than that, I don't know. I don't remember the dates, honestly. 7 months ago. And honestly, that was the first time in my life I ever had to be isolated from other people in the way that I was for that amount of time. CDC is giving people 5 days from the time they had COVID to return back to whatever they're doing. That's not the case for me, boo-boo. I was in the house for 14 days. I was actually in the house for longer than 14 days. And I think for me, I'm always busy. So I've noticed times where I was depressed and it was evident to me when I was completely by myself, because I would just start crying or just be extra sad for no reason. You can't pay me to tell you what's wrong with me. I don't know. But my coping mechanism with that was to just stay extremely busy. But with COVID, I couldn't do anything, so I wasn't busy. I was at my sister's house with no Wi-Fi because she was out of town. So I went to her house because I have roommates and I wanted to be considerate. So, you know, I didn't get to quarantine with family. I was literally by myself in an apartment with no Wi-Fi. So just my phone, and, you know, the first few days was cool. I was like, oh, I get a break. You know, I was scrolling my life away. And then after that, it was just quiet. And my mind was able to wander and just like dissect some things. So yeah, that was like the start of me just realizing all of the things I was not satisfied with within my life, and just understanding that when I'm not busy, I'm experiencing a feeling that is of emptiness, that is of demotivation, and there's nothing or nobody who can like make it go away. And the best distraction from that is me being in a relationship or me writing music, which that was on a halt because my producer was busy and going through some things with his laptop. And then, you know, in my relationship, there is individuality. He cannot make me happy. I have to already be happy. He can contribute to more happiness, but I need to be happy within myself. So I was seeking the wrong things for happiness, but that was all I could do to like distract myself from what I was feeling. Please don't ignore it. Don't try to distract yourself. A distraction is literally a distraction. It does the same thing the drugs do. You know, it feels good in a moment, and then when the high wears off, you back dealing with the problem. So it's best to try to solve what's causing it. These are some of the signs and experiences in terms of symptoms I was having that let me know, hey girl, something's wrong, something's not right, you are depressed. I had a tendency to be not very optimistic. The things that I found enjoyable were no longer enjoyable, and nothing was working. Even things that I knew I used to like and that would contribute to my happiness was not working. And so that's when I just knew something was wrong. My desires were shifting and changing, and I just felt an overwhelming lost feeling of like, why? I just questioned why? And we're told not to do that, but that's what I was doing. Like, why? I didn't understand. I didn't understand what the purpose of me being here was. Sometimes I feel like I still don't understand, but I just know it's beyond me, and I'm just making the best of it. Hopefully my experience helps somebody. So another sign that I was dealing with depression is like, I got invited out by a couple of friends to go to Keith Sweat's house. He was having some type of a party that he does annually. And to me, that's big because I'm a singer and you gotta go out and network and, you know, try to take advantage of opportunities. So when I was invited, I was like, supposed to be excited, but I wasn't. So that was like a red flag for me. And, you know, I built up the strength. One, I had to go to where everybody was going to get ready for that because I had to do my friend's hair. So I went and fulfilled my commitment of work, which was to do her hair. I took all my stuff with me to get ready and go. I got dressed and literally felt so shitty and had to go to my car. And I just snuck out and left. And she's like, where are you? And I was just like, I'm sorry, I'm just not in the best space. I don't want to go. At the time, I was dealing with separation from my husband. But just overall, I was just not in a good space. And for me to like pass up an opportunity of networking was a big thing for me. And that's how I knew it was just like, if I can't suck it up and, you know, put a smile on for 1 hour, 2 hours for this, something's wrong. Like I should have definitely been able to do that, but I just couldn't. It was like an overwhelming feeling of like, I don't want to be around nobody. I don't want to do nothing. And so that kind of let me know something wasn't right. One of the biggest desires for me was to become a mom, and me having all of these siblings and friends, I'm literally the only one who doesn't have a child yet. And a part of me understands that that's a blessing because I don't feel like I'm in the best space right now or financially ready. It was causing a big depression. And now, well, I wouldn't even say now, I don't know where I stand now, but literally like 2 months ago, I didn't want no kids at all. I'm just like, I don't care no more. You know, I went from everybody who knows me knows I want that to like, I don't care anymore. So it's just a off shift. Like my desires are heavily altered and not clear to me anymore. At this point, a lot of things have happened to kind of signal my brain that something's wrong and I need to get help. But the biggest thing that was like happening to me was the fear of being by myself and harming myself. Again, I don't think I would ever like hang myself or try to shoot or stab myself. I don't want to experience any pain per se. And I also felt like, I'm here because of how it would affect my family and friends and loved ones. Like, I'm trying not to be selfish, but at this point I was feeling like I was living for the sake of not disappointing them versus it being something for me. And again, I have a better understanding of that. I'm just telling you, I don't think that that's real. I'm just letting you know how I felt. And there was one particular day that I was just like taking a shower and I was like in there damn near having a heart attack, like just crying. And my boyfriend discovered me in the shower. He's just like, yo, what's wrong with you? And I couldn't explain what was wrong. I just was not okay. And I had to go, I'm in a band, so I had to go meet them and get ready for a performance that same day. And I didn't feel comfortable driving. I honestly felt like if I got in my car at that moment that I was gonna purposely try to drive off the side of the road and get in an accident. First of all, that's very selfish to society, to a whole bunch of people. But that's just honestly how I felt. I felt like I was gonna try to take like the easiest way out. And so I had to ask my mom. Luckily, my mom was in town and I had to ask her to drop me off where I was going. And she was just like, well, do you want to go to, you don't have to do this. And I'm like, no, I have to do it. The band had just explained how important it was to not cancel at the last minute and so I just felt like, no, I made this obligation, I have to do it. And I had to give a disclaimer to tell the people, like, don't ask me if I'm okay, I'm not okay. It's gonna be very obvious I'm not okay, I'm dealing with something, but I don't want to cancel on you guys. So I had to give them people a disclaimer. And I was going to check myself into the hospital. And then I thought about it. She was asking did I want to go. I was like, yeah, but we gotta go, I'll go tomorrow. But then when I thought about it, she was like, if you go to the hospital talking about you suicidal, they're gonna lock you up, you're gonna be in the ward with the crazy people. And that might do more harm than good. Like, maybe there are alternatives for you to get help. And so I didn't end up going to the hospital, but that specific day was like the darkest day of my depression, because that was the first time I felt like I was going to do something about it. I think a big contributor to why I was feeling depressed is I have a heavy habit of people pleasing, and that's usually not reciprocated, and that can send you down a rabbit hole of feeling very used and unappreciated. And I think I experienced that a lot. But again, so I gotta set boundaries. I have videos about this more so with my clients, but you have to set boundaries and protect yourself, and I wasn't doing that. And so it just made me feel used and tired and over it and negative. I had a very negative outlook on a lot of things. It was hard for me to see the good and positive in things. When I would feel like a sense of hopelessness, I would stay there. I wouldn't even try to get out of it. And it became overwhelming. And on top of that, there was grieving that I don't feel like I properly know how to do. But I've lost my aunt in the past 2 years, and my nephew passed away so suddenly, and that had a big effect on me as well. Not in the way that I thought it would, but I felt very helpless in the sense of like, that was my sister's child and I was the only one kind of available to help her, and I felt kind of helpless in doing that because like she's dealing with a depression that can't be undone, and everything that she was expressing to me when I was trying to like console her was like, I can't even try to convince her not to feel that, because I feel that myself with my own level of depression. But I think the causes of mine versus the causes of hers, two different things, because it, like, she can't undo what was causing her depression. So I think that kind of took a toll on me being put in that position. If you have the type of depression that my sister has, where you can't fix or undo what caused that depression, then you have to find healthier ways to cope with it. But you can't cope or find those ways if you're not even willing to admit that you are, in fact, depressed or dealing with depression. So I encourage you to please, be self-aware and get some help. In the midst of trying to help her, I had one of my close friends send me a message and like a recommendation for therapy for her because they knew that she would need it. And I'm gonna read the message to you guys because when I read this, I'm actually gonna post it right here. When I read it, I knew it was supposed to be for my sister, but it spoke to me so much and I was just like, wow. So we're gonna read it real quick. I'm just ready to see Jesus. Lord, if you take me in my sleep, it'll be all right with me. I just want to disappear. I just want to sleep for a really long time. I'm moving to Wakanda. These are all suicidal statements. It doesn't mean that you will put a gun to your head or swallow a bottle of pills. It simply means that you have the same desires as those who have attempted suicide. The statements mean living on Earth is hard and you don't want to be here anymore. I can help you honor these emotions and statements without shame. It was an invitation to a support group, and when I was reading that, I'm like, I say these things all the time. I think and feel these things all the time, especially the moving to Wakanda. Like, I just didn't have a strong desire to be here. So that let me know, even though that was sent for someone who obviously was dealing with depression, that when I read that and it just sunk in, that I was dealing with something deeper than just, having a bad day here and there. I think a big contribution to why I'm feeling depressed is I don't have a lot of moments to look forward to. I was drowning myself in work and especially when I was gung-ho about me being a mainstream singer, I understood that that type of success would automatically come with travel and shopping and looking a certain type of way. Like once I got there, it'd be good. So I wasn't really focused on the journey of that, the now. I would just kind of fast forward into that's going to be there, so that's not a priority. So in terms of fun or spending money on like unnecessary, going to the movies or whatever the case may be, well, I would say I go to the movies, but something bigger like vacation. I've only been on one vacation in my life. Things like that, it's just like I don't create moments to look forward to, like smaller milestones before I get to the big thing. And I think that caused me to just get discouraged because the overall goal is harder to accomplish. And then when you don't, it's just like, you fall back into what am I doing this for? Feeling like there's no rewards out of life. And so I don't do that anymore. I do try to find like smaller, more attainable things to measure, and when I reach that, I reward myself and just have something to look forward to. But I think waking up, being in the routine of doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, eating the same thing over and over, it was just like an ongoing cycle of just like why. And so that's some of the things that help me understand something's not right and something needs to be worked on. And so if you're experiencing any of these things, I encourage you to take a look at self and acknowledge it, accept it, and then seek help. I don't have a therapist yet. I've tried somebody, it didn't work out, but I will be starting therapy very soon. And I have a good support system when it comes to my friends. I've stopped avoiding people and I have a really good support system. I have a routine to where when I'm feeling heavily in that depression, I am intentional about getting out of that space. Because it's very dangerous. Very dangerous. And you shouldn't have to deal with that alone. A lot of people look at it and feel like they're going through it by themselves, but it's more normal than you think. Not normal as in it's okay, but normal like it's happening to a lot of people. And the worst feeling, the most overwhelming thing about it is you feel like you're going through it by yourself. It's an isolated situation and nobody understands, which is further from the truth. When you're dealing with, you know, the world, again, you get a highlight reel. There's been plenty of times where, you know, nobody would ever be able to tell I'm not okay because I'm smiling. I'm very energetic and goofy person, and it's just suppressed. And there's a lot of people living their life like that. But guess what? Like when you act like you're okay, that whole fake it till you make it, nobody knows you need help. If you walking around with a whole bunch of money, flaunting it, then why would anybody offer to help you, give you money, or assist you, or whatever the case may be? They don't think you need that assistance. Why? Because you look like you got it together already. So when you're not okay, you shouldn't pretend that you're okay. It should be very obvious in certain circumstances so that, you know, people can show that they care and they're there for you and they can support you. But if you faking it like you together and you're not, it's not going to help anybody. And you're going to feel like nobody cares when it's not that nobody cares, it's that nobody knows. So I encourage you, if you're dealing with this, to get help. And yeah. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. And if you want to share anything with me in terms of your depression, I'm open to talking to you guys about it. If you don't want to leave it in a comment, feel free to follow me on social media. That's at ShawniiEcho. And you can DM me, and if I don't respond instantly, just give it some time. But I'm open to just giving some insight and advice. The next video I do will be more so in detail of how I cope with my depression, specifically what I'm reading, what I'm listening to, what my daily routine looks like when I wake up and just feel like shit. So if that's something you would like to see, turn on your post notifications, because that's going to be the next session with Shawnii topic. And until next time, guys, I love you so much, so much. Give this video a thumbs up if it was helpful and you enjoyed it. Share it with someone you feel like can benefit from it. And I will talk to you guys later. Peace.